the Jasmine. This one is a fantastic pose to work on with either one hand or two hands. And eventually this turns into a very pivotal move for future pole combos because there's a lot of transitions that pass through the Jasmine. So we're going to work on dropping into this. So this is a fantastic one. You don't have to be inverting for it, but it's also a great way to eventually start dropping down into inverts as you're building that strength to work towards your inverts. So we're going to look at it from a climb, and we're going to look at it from the floor. Let's start from the floor. For those of you that are maybe still working on your strength on the climb, I actually find in some ways it's easier to drop down into it from the climb, but it's less scary from the floor for sure. Okay, so we'll look at it on static and on spin because there's some pros and cons to both. So if I put my bottom foot close to the pole, I'm going to bring my inside foot nice and high. Bring your knee up as high as you can, depending on flexibility, wherever that is. And I want to slide my top hand down so it's close to my knee, okay? Because I want to be able to slide my bottom hand down. If this hand's high, I'm going to have a hard time, okay? So think slide both hands down. Try to get this hand down as low as you can. Now this is the part that can be a little bit of a struggle on the floor, is I have to unweight this foot. So I have to be able to push with this hand, hop, 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 to be able to bring this leg through to lift, okay? So this bottom leg, it can be bent or straight. The crucial thing though is that I want to have the pole close to my hip. I don't want to have it out here on my thigh. If it's on my thigh, my arms are having to work a whole lot. If I bring it here closer to my hip, I don't need my arms as much. You can let go one or both, okay? Coming back out, pull up, drop that foot down, and bring it up. So make sure that first knee is nice and high. Second leg, think about trying to get it as close to your hip or your shorts level as you can. So if you're struggling to lift that second foot, I actually find sometimes it's easier to do it on spin. I know it might seem kind of scary depending on how comfortable you are with spin, but basically if you put it on spin, you can kind of just fall into it, just lean forward, and that bottom leg will automatically lift up, okay? So same beginning, start with that inside knee high, slide that hand down, slide my hand down, and I'm gonna push off of the toes of this foot, and as I come through, lift that hip, and it catches. Okay, same thing, it can be bent, it can be straight, whichever you prefer. Okay, so that would be getting into it from the floor, either static or spin. Taking it up, it doesn't really make much of a difference whether it's on static or spin. Just go with your personal preference. This move definitely works about the same either way. I don't feel like the spin throws it off, but depending on your comfort level with spin, okay? So if you're not as comfortable with spin, definitely start with it on static. So if you take it from a climb, initially you don't have to go very high, just maybe take it one climb up just to start adjusting. It doesn't matter if you're 2 inches off the floor or 2 feet off the floor, it's still the same strength level, but sometimes it's less scary if we're close. So don't feel like you have to take it very high, okay? So I'm just gonna climb up maybe one. I'm gonna put one hand nice and high. My other arm, I'm gonna use my forearm, okay? So whichever is my high hand, I'm gonna bring that same leg through to the front. So I'm pushing with my forearm so I can bring this leg through. I'm gonna keep this other leg behind, slide, 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 keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding until it gets all the way into that hip, just like it was before, okay? And then now you can either drop it down to the floor like we did before, or you can reach up and pull it up. So eventually it starts to turn into some of your combo climbs. As far as which hand is high and that drop down portion, if you want to change up the hands, there's no necessarily right and wrong way. If you find a better way of how you put your hands to drop down to it, that's absolutely fine. That just tends to be the way that it feels most natural for me, but it might feel a little bit more natural in a different way for you, okay? So let's look at same. We go up, okay? I can go hand high, bottom arm is pushing, whichever hand is high, that knee is gonna come through. Slide, 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 keep sliding, and lift this foot. Don't let it point towards the ground. Lift it up as you slide so that it catches on that hip. There. So that is Jasmine. Try it out. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any requests for future tutorials, I always love to hear those. Please leave those in the comments below, as well as your questions. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Please share it with your pole mamas, your pole babies, your pole wifeys, all the fam. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.